gangster movies. There's something about them, right? Whether it's the slick suits, the sharp dialogue, or just the sheer intensity of the stories, these films have a way of grabbing you and not letting go. If you're into gritty action, complex characters, and stories that revolve around power, loyalty, and betrayal, gangster movies are where it's at. Think about it, from the Godfather's iconic "make them an offer they can't refuse" to the chaos in Goodfellas. These movies have given us some of the most memorable lines, characters, and moments in film history. Whether it's dealing with family drama, dodging bullets, or trying to climb the criminal ladder, there's always a deeper story happening beneath the surface. But here's the thing, gangster movies aren't just about mobsters and their shady business deals. They explore themes like loyalty, betrayal, power, and how far people will go to protect their own. And let's not forget the unpredictable twists and turns that keep you on the edge of your seat. In this list, we're diving into 8 classic gangster films that you absolutely have to see. If you've never watched a mob movie before, get ready for a wild ride. And if you're a die-hard fan, well, these films are still as powerful as ever. Get ready to witness some of the most iconic moments in movie history. Let's dive in. The Departed is a movie that grabs you by the collar, shakes you up, and doesn't let go. It's a crime thriller from 2006, directed by Martin Scorsese. Yeah, the guy who basically wrote the rulebook on mob movies. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, and Mark Wahlberg. That's a stacked cast. You could put those guys in a movie about making sandwiches and it'd still be intense. Now, the story? It's all about rats. Not the little cheese-eating kind, the human kind. The movie is set in Boston, where the police and the Irish mob are playing a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Leonardo DiCaprio plays Billy Costigan, a cop who goes undercover in the mob, while Matt Damon plays Colin Sullivan, a mobster who's secretly working inside the police. Basically, they're both spies, both trying to find each other without getting caught. The tension builds, the stakes get higher, and you, as a viewer, start gripping the couch like it's going to run away. People get double-crossed, there are shootouts, and just when you think you know where it's going, bam, another twist. The ending? Let's just say nobody is safe. Bodies drop like flies, and the last scene delivers one of the most cold-blooded oh shh moments in movie history. If you haven't seen it yet, you're in for a ride. And if you have, you already know. It's a masterpiece. Next up, it's one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time, Goodfellas. Goodfellas is one of those movies that completely changes the way you look at crime films. Directed by Martin Scorsese, this 1990 classic stars Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci. It's based on the true story of Henry Hill, a guy who spent his life in the mob, starting as a kid, dreaming of becoming part of the family, and ending up deep in the game. From the get-go, you're sucked into the world of glitz, glamour, and, well, violence. Henry, played by Liotta, tells his story, how he got involved in the mafia, what it's like living that double life, and how he climbs the ranks. But don't get it twisted. Life in the mob isn't all fancy dinners and cash stacks. There's betrayal, violence, and a whole lot of backstabbing. The movie's filled with iconic moments. Joe Pesci's Tommy, with his short fuse, is one of the most terrifying and unpredictable characters you'll ever see on screen. And that funny how scene, legendary. As the story unfolds, Henry rises, but the lifestyle comes with consequences. Things start falling apart. He gets caught in a web of drugs, paranoia, and betrayal, and his life quickly spirals. The ending? Well, let's just say it's not the happy kind of ending you expect. Henry's out of the game, but it's not exactly a happy ever after. It's more like a life goes on kind of ending, and it hits hard. Goodfellas isn't just a mob movie. It's a brutal, unforgettable look at the price of loyalty, crime, and ambition. From one wild ride in the world of mobsters to another, we're trading the streets of New York for the glitzy, dangerous allure of Vegas. If Goodfellas showed us the grind of the hustle, Casino cranks it up a notch, taking us deep into the heart of casino chaos, where every hand could be your last. Casino is another gem from Martin Scorsese. Released in 1995, this one's like Goodfellas meets Las Vegas, and it stars Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone, and Joe Pesci. The movie's based on the real-life story of the rise and fall of the mob-run casinos in Vegas, during the 70s and 80s. You've got glitzy casinos, dirty deals, and the kind of money that makes your eyes pop out of your head. De Niro plays Sam Ace Rothstein, a sharp, methodical casino boss who's hired to run one of the biggest casinos in Vegas. He's got everything: control of the casino, tons of money flowing in, and an almost perfect system to run the place. But here's the catch: he's working for the mob, and things don't go as smoothly as planned. Enter Joe Pesci, playing Nicky Santoro, a hot-headed, violent enforcer who's sent to keep an eye on Sam's operations. And then there's Ginger, played by Sharon Stone, a former hustler who marries Sam and complicates things further with her own problems. The story is like a slow-burning train wreck. Sam tries to keep the casino running smoothly, but Nicky's temper and Ginger's drama mess things up. As the money piles up, so does the greed, corruption, and violence. The ending? Not pretty. It's a brutal, almost poetic fall from grace, with betrayal, murder, and shattered dreams. Sam loses everything, and Vegas itself, once a shining jewel, is left in ruins. It's a hard-hitting look at how greed and loyalty can take everything away, and how the bigger the gamble, the harder the crash. From the high-stakes world of Vegas to the sun-soaked streets of Miami, we're diving into another world of power and ambition. While Casino shows us the ruthless game of big money in the desert, Scarface takes us into the brutal rise of a man who wants it all, and isn't afraid to spill blood for it. Scarface is one of those movies that never lets you forget its name. Released in 1983 and directed by Brian De Palma, it stars Al Pacino as Tony Montana, a Cuban immigrant who rises to the top of the Miami drug scene. It's a wild ride through power, violence, and excess that made this movie a cultural landmark. The story follows Tony, who comes to America with nothing but a dream and a mean streak. He starts small, working his way up through the ranks in the drug trade, and before you know it, he's calling the shots. Pacino's performance is iconic. He's intense, ruthless, and totally unpredictable. Tony's got a real shoot first, think later attitude, which works for a while, but we all know how that ends. Along the way, he builds an empire, makes enemies, and loses himself in the process. Tony's world becomes more chaotic as he gets deeper into drugs, money, and power, but his biggest enemy is his own ego. He thinks he's untouchable, but greed, betrayal, and paranoia start to take their toll. The ending? Well, it's as explosive as the rest of the movie. Without giving too much away, let's just say Tony goes out in a blaze of glory. It's not a happy ending, but it's definitely one that sticks with you. Scarface is all about the dangers of excess, the cost of ambition, and how sometimes the climb to the top can be your downfall. Classic stuff. We've seen Tony Montana chase the American dream with a machine gun and a mountain of cocaine. Now, it's time for a different kind of power play. The next gangster movie that you need to watch isn't one movie, it's three. The Godfather trilogy. The Godfather trilogy isn't just a set of movies. It's a cinematic masterpiece that basically defines the gangster genre. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola and based on Mario Puzo's novel, these movies follow the Corleone family as they navigate the brutal, complicated world of organized crime. The first film dropped in 1972, the second in 1974, and the final chapter in 1990. You've got Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Diane Keaton, and a list of legendary actors that make every scene unforgettable. The first Godfather starts it all. Don Corleone, Marlon Brando, is the powerful, respected, and feared head of the Corleone family. But after an assassination attempt leaves him weak, his reluctant son Michael, Al Pacino, is forced to step up. At first, Michael wants nothing to do with the family business. He's the good son, the one with a normal life. But one thing leads to another, and before long, he's not just in the game, he is the game. By the end, Michael transforms into the new Don, sealing his fate in one of the most cold-blooded endings ever. The second part is The Godfather Part 2. Many argue this is the best sequel ever made. It's a 2-for-1 deal. Half the movie shows Michael expanding his empire, becoming more ruthless, and losing his soul along the way. The other half flashes back to a young Vito Corleone, played by Robert De Niro, showing how he built the family's power from nothing. The contrast is chilling. Vito rises out of necessity, while Michael's fall is all about ambition and paranoia. By the end, Michael has everything he ever wanted, but at the cost of everything he ever loved. The final part of the trilogy, The Godfather Part 3, is the black sheep of the trilogy. It's still a solid movie, but it doesn't quite hit the same way as the first two. Michael, now older and trying to go legit, finds out that once you're in the mafia, you're never really out. The film explores guilt, redemption, and the sins of the past catching up. The ending? Brutal. Michael loses the one thing he truly cared about, and in his final moments, he dies alone, a broken man. Next up, we're moving from the old-school code of the Corleones to the modern-day chess match of cops and criminals. The Godfather trilogy showed us the weight of family, power, and loyalty. Heat takes those same themes and throws them into the streets of LA, where every decision is a split-second gamble. Different battleground, same high stakes. Heat isn't just a crime movie, it's the crime movie. Directed by Michael Mann, it's got Al Pacino and Robert De Niro going head-to-head in a game of cat and mouse that's as intense as it gets. Throw in Val Kilmer, an epic shootout, and some of the best dialogue ever put on screen, and you've got a masterpiece. The story: De Niro plays Neil McCauley, a professional thief who runs an elite crew pulling off high-stakes heists. He's disciplined, calculated, and lives by one rule: never get attached to anything you can't walk away from in 30 seconds if you feel the heat around the corner. On the other side, Pacino plays Vincent Hanna, an obsessive LAPD detective who's just as intense as the criminals he's chasing. The guy's got a failing marriage, zero work-life balance, and an energy level that's permanently set to maximum overdrive. Neil McCauley, Robert De Niro, and his crew, Chris Shiherlis, Val Kilmer, Michael Chiritto, Tom Sizemore, and Danny Trejo, who is absent from the actual heist, plan to hit a downtown Los Angeles bank, stealing $12 million in bearer bonds. Dressed in suits and carrying rifles in duffel bags, McCauley, Shiherlis, and Chiritto enter the bank. McCauley calmly approaches the bank manager and has him open the vault while Chris monitors the floor and Chiritto keeps control of the hostages. Everything is smooth and controlled until the LAPD arrives outside, led by Vincent Hanna, Al Pacino, who got tipped off. Chris fires first, taking out an officer and forcing an open gunfight. McCauley and Chiritto return fire, using military-style tactics, retreating strategically, laying down suppressive fire, and moving between cover. The sound of the gunfire is deafening as Michael Mann recorded real gunshots echoing off the buildings of downtown LA, rather than using fake Hollywood sound effects. Chris narrowly escapes, but Chiritto is killed. McCauley now has to decide whether to escape with Edie or settle unfinished business with Waingro, who betrayed him. When the final showdown comes, it's a gut punch. The tension builds until the very last second, leading to one of the most poetic and heartbreaking endings in crime film history. No spoilers, but let's just say Heat proves that in this world, even the best have to lose eventually. Absolute classic. Have you seen all 6 movies? Which is your favorite? As always, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe for more content coming soon.